Mr. President, this week we're debating an important piece of legislation that's going to streamline and simplify government regulations. We're going to make it easier, cheaper for families to get access to loans from their local banks. This legislation is good for communities, and it's good for the American economy. Now, Mr. President, it's just the latest thing that we've done in Congress over the past year to help give the American economy a boost. The economy is responding, and the American people are doing better because of it. Here's the headline in the New York Times on Friday. The economy is looking awfully strong. Headline, New York Times, the economy is looking awfully strong. The article was about the jobs report that came out last week. It said the report can be summed up in 4 words. It says, the economy is humming. Mr. President, the U.S. economy has already created over 552,000 new jobs in just the first 2 months of this year. Over 500,000 new jobs, first 2 months of this year. 500,000 more people working today compared to when Republicans passed this tax relief law. If you want to go back a little, there are more than 3 million new jobs since President Trump was elected in November of 2016. That's a real number to look at. That's the moment when people said they've had enough of slow-growing policies of the Democrats in Washington and elected Donald Trump president. That's the moment when businesses realized things were going to be different with Republicans in charge. More people working now, and you know what else? They're being paid more. According to the Commerce Department, the take-home pay of working people in America increased by $40 billion in January. Now, they say it's directly because of the tax relief law that Republicans passed last December. More than 4 million workers are also getting a bonus or a pay increase. 400 companies have said that's because the taxes went down. They're sharing the savings with their workers. These are people who work at Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, Starbucks, other businesses that are familiar names all across America. There are also people who work in smaller businesses like the Jonah Bank in Wyoming. It's the branches in Casper and in Cheyenne. It's not a nationally known bank, but it's very important in our state and in our communities. Some of the people who are getting bonuses work at places like Taco John's. That's another business that's important to the people of Wyoming. Local business in Wyoming. When I was in the state Senate, it's a place I went regularly to eat lunch. It's just one of many Taco John's facilities around the state of Wyoming and around the West. Like Republicans cut taxes, working Americans are seeing more money in their paychecks as a result. And this is what talks about in terms of the confidence. It's a new survey, came out recently, talked about the heads of mid-sized companies all around America. This is what they said. 89% of the business leaders are confident in the United States' economics and the economy's prospects for the year. U.S. economic confidence soars. 2016, 39%, 17, 80%, now 89%. But the American people realize we've now beaten back 8 years of bad policies from Democrats in Washington. And as soon as President Trump took office, we saw the confidence soar, and I don't know that it's ever been higher. Americans are feeling better about the U.S. economy. They're feeling better also about their own personal situation. That's the key. People's own personal situation. That's certainly the case in my home state of Wyoming. The polling company Gallup looked at overall economic confidence state by state. They found that Wyoming is the most confident state in the country when it comes to America's economy. Attitudes about the economy turned positive immediately after Donald Trump was elected president in 2016. You could feel it. You could feel the confidence. You could feel the optimism. You could feel there was a positiveness in the opinions of the people of Wyoming. People living now in 43 out of the 50 states have a positive view of the economy. And Wyoming, of course, was number one. People I talked to at home, and I was in Cody, Wyoming this past weekend, as well as in Sheridan and Riverton and Casper and around the state, talking to people in various communities. Look, the people I talk to about the economy will tell you it's because businesses are hiring again, people are doing better, they see their take-home pay going up, they see their taxes going down, they see Republican policies are making their lives better. They see that Republican policies are also making the economy stronger. They see Republican policies are making it easier for people to achieve their dreams and to enjoy their lives. It comes from tax relief. It comes from cutting regulations like we're doing this week. So what are the Democrats offering? Well, last week, the Democrat leader came to the floor and said he wants to raise taxes by $1 trillion. That's what the leader of the Democrat Party said on the floor of the Senate last week. He wants to raise taxes by $1 trillion. Is he serious? $1 trillion raising taxes, taking away from people the tax cuts that they're just enjoying? Mr. President, more people have jobs. The economy is humming. The New York Times says the economy is humming. 90% of working Americans have increased in their take-home pay. It's because of the tax cuts that this body has passed. Democrats want to reverse it all. That's what we hear on the floor of the Senate. They want to take the money back. They want to roll back the progress that we've made. That's their plan. Raise taxes. That's what we hear from the Democrats. Senator Schumer came to the floor of the Senate and he said, quote, he said, there are much better uses for the money. That's what he said on the floor of the United States Senate. That's what the Washington Democrats always say. They have better uses for the money than the American people have to use their own money. They have a better idea, they always say, about how to use somebody else's money. They want higher taxes. They want more Washington spending because they think they know best. They don't think the money should go to pay increases or bonuses for working Americans. Mr. President, really? They think it should go to Washington? I think American families know how to spend their paychecks better than any Washington Democrat ever will. Democrats say they want to use this $1 trillion in new taxes to pay for infrastructure. But we all know that America's infrastructure, our roads, our bridges, our dams, our waterways, well, they're in desperate need of attention. But as chairman of the Environment and Public Works Committee, I tell you, I am committed to improving this situation by working with the president and working on both sides of the aisle. And if Democrats want to talk about a robust and a fiscally responsible infrastructure plan that's going to help the American economy, then I'm ready to have that conversation. But if all they want to do is talk about raising taxes on American families, they're wasting their breath. Look, there's a very big difference between Republicans and Democrats in Congress. Republicans want the American people to keep more of their hard-earned money. Democrats want Washington to take more of people's money. Republicans want new policies that grow the economy, create jobs, inspire confidence in a brighter future. Democrats want the same old tax and spend policies that have failed for years. Their policies have led to slow growth, stagnant wages, terrible lack of confidence in our economy. Republicans promised that our ideas would do better. And the results from the tax cuts and the tax relief speak for themselves. The economy is strong. Confidence is off the charts. The American people deserve this chance to have a brighter future, and that's what Republicans are offering, and it's also, Mr. President, what Republicans are delivering. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.